Hello, gentle souls. We have another anonymous personal reading here today. For those of you who don't know, it's basically where someone gives me like a word or a phrase, like a noun, person, place, or thing, to use as the identifier for their video so that they know which one is theirs. And I do the reading. I try to be as in-depth and transparent as possible while also maintaining privacy and anonymity, because I know that people don't always want all their business all out there for the whole entire world to see. And also, times are hard. People need to know what's going on. But, maybe people don't have the funds to pay for a psychic because employment is awful right now. And or they just don't know if they can trust a psychic, or maybe they don't know if someone's right for them. So this is a nice little way for people in all of those circumstances, many of them, to get a little clarity and insight onto what's going on in their life. Speaking of which, it's a wonderful segue into the fact that there's so much quartz on the table right now. So I have my obsidian tower, of course, but I also have a quartz tower. If you guys look at like the other video, I have another amethyst tower that I have at the bottom of the screen, and it's kind of just there so that I know what's outside of the frame for the video. But anyway, I also have this quartz pyramid. And I have my quartz pendulum. I don't bring my pendulum out on the channel a lot. I think I've maybe used it in like one or two videos, but this person's pile, I guess Spirit is wanting me to bring out all of the things to give a clear and accurate reading. Yeah, I've got some third eye pressure, so there is a message waiting to come through. I believe this person is wanting to write like a book or a script. So we're going to focus on that, and then also just let them know what Spirit wants them to know most right now. So let's get started. Spirit, tell them about, or where should I go? Let's start with the question that is coming to mind first, which is, what does Spirit want them to know? And I think that'll take us into the direction of what to ask about their project. Should I take those? Yes. Oh, we have a theme here. The Four of Swords came out in, well, I technically didn't post it. There was another reading that I did that was supposed to be the second one. Technically, it's the second one still, but I haven't posted that one yet, and I'm not sure if I will, because things were interesting. I'll just leave it at that. Things were interesting in that one. But they had the Four of Swords. But for them, it was more about like a battle. But and meditation, of course, as well, because that's one of the other meanings for this card. But I'm also feeling this is more about like the preparation aspect. Just like pause for a moment to gather and prepare. Yeah. Like that. They also have the Six of Wands. That is victory and public recognition. Mercury retrograde. It's making it very difficult for me to talk right now. We also have the Magician, which is about, having all the tools that you need to do something. So it's almost like Spirit wants you to gather everything up, get started, get prepared. I'm having the mental image of someone like camping in the woods with like a group of people. You know, you have someone going to get the firewood. You have somebody, who's like fishing. You have someone setting up camp. Setting up the tents and stuff. It's like the energy that I'm getting right now. We also have the Four of Cups. I've been seeing this a lot lately. It seems to be. I mean, generally, this card is about a sense of like dissatisfaction. But I also get the feeling in this reading, it's like you don't know where to start. Like there's so many like angles and or avenues to like to choose from, which I think is where the meditation with the Four of Swords comes in, so that you can pick a place. Yeah. I'm hearing like you're in a good place. Just be patient. I guess before I forget, while I was trying to figure out what crystals to put on the table for the reading, I was thinking about the quartz tower, and then I thought, no, let's do the obsidian. Spirit showed me the image of the obsidian very clearly in my mind, and then I thought, no, I need both. And the duality of black and the white, it made me think of the sphinxes in the Chariot. I don't know if it's going to make an appearance or not, but it's what I thought of. And the sphinxes, I forget exactly what they represent, but it's kind of like what's coming to my mind right now is like similar to like yin and yang. This is also represented by like black and white, light and dark, but it's about staying balanced, so that you stay on the like intended or like correct trajectory. Because if you lean too far into one energy or the other, it'll steer you off course. The only way that the Chariot will go straight on is if both sphinxes are equally dominant. I don't know why that's the word that I want to use, but you need to balance those. So all the things that someone may have in their lifetime that they need to work on balancing, like when to rest, when to be active and work on things, when to things like sleep and wake, and when to eat, when to not eat, when to little things like that. Doing stuff for yourself as well as doing stuff for others. Just maintaining balance. And I heard integrity. I don't know why integrity came to mind, but yeah. Let's see what else we have here. Yep, just wanted to come out. Geez, this one's making an appearance again. Five of Cups. It's interesting though because there is a progression here. So we've gone from the 4 to the 5. Now, Five of Cups isn't a very happy card, but let's put that there for now to get a feel for things. We also have the 10 of Wands, so that's about a burden that's too heavy to bear, something that's going to take a lot of effort. Maybe this is something you should not do alone. Maybe you need a little help, a little guidance. Oh yeah, it's like the mental image that I had earlier, is, like people going camping. Camping is always best with other people. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think some of us, if you're watching my channel, you're probably into um, spirituality and metaphysics and stuff. And people like us tend to dream about having a cabin in the woods for us to like retreat away from all the noises of society from time to time, because it just gets to be a lot, especially if you're empathic. But yeah, going back to that, it seems as though others are needed or recommended. It's like you could do it yourself, but it's going to be tiring and exhausted. So if there are other people who can lend a helping hand, why not take the help? Unless, of course, you're concerned about people like tarnishing the message that you're trying to convey in your project. In which case, I guess I would. How are the words trying to come out? I would reevaluate the people around you if you are unsure of whether or not they would be the right people to help you, and not in a sense of like, oh, like you don't want to help me write this book, like I want to talk to you. But this seems more like a concern of someone maybe like sabotaging or getting in the way, um, or taking the idea and running off with it to do something of their own, or yeah, it feels as though you want this to be like a solo journey, but I'm getting that there are a couple of people in your circle who would be able to, at least point you in the right direction or do some of the heavy lifting that doesn't necessarily have to be done by you. That could be like a publisher or something, finding an editor, maybe, perhaps. Yeah. We're going to pull this last card and then flip the deck over to see the bottom, and then we'll pull Oracle. Ooh, we have the Star. That is always a lovely card to get in the reading. It's about like hopes and dreams coming true, but also, I don't know if you can see the bottom here. She's got a jug that she's pouring onto the land and another jug that she's pouring into the water. This makes me think about Aquarius energy, but also the symbolism in here is very similar to the Temperance card, which is Sagittarius energy. So that makes me think uh, research, connecting with people online, perhaps, reaching out to people who are familiar with the subject that you will be writing about, um, who can point you in the right direction or just give you extra information. But also just being bold and just taking the first step. Uh, you're never going to get to the end of your journey if you never take the first step. So just start, and everything will kind of fall into place. Is part of what I'm getting. But going back to how there's one jug being poured onto the land and one jug poured into the water, and also one foot on the water, not in it. Oh. This might be something that's more personal related to you as opposed to the project itself. But the fact that her foot is on the water and not in the water, it's, it's purposeful. It's saying to, I don't know why I'm thinking about that saying of like, be not of the world, even though like you're in it or something. But words are hard right now. um, Water in tarot is about emotions. So don't drown in your feelings, like observe them. Don't drown in them. Don't get lost in them. Don't get lost in your feels. But definitely observe. You don't want to ignore them. You definitely don't want to ignore your feelings because that can cause issues later on down the road. But learn to ride the wave. There's a reading that I did about that. I'll probably link it or maybe like stick it in a little card or something. It's a new little setting that I have yet to fully utilize. um, yeah, or I might like stick it in like a comment section or something. I don't know. Somehow, some kind of way, I'll link that other reading. Because yeah, it definitely talks about riding the wave instead of being caught up in the undertow of the wave, dragged under. Okay, one more. Ace of Pentacles. There is an opportunity, and it also bodes well for starting a new project because Pentacles are about Earth. Um, so Earth and like work, they go together. Like butter and jam on toast or peanut butter and jelly. Just so that this is even, we're gonna pull, I want the one on top, or do I want the one that's split? Oh, this is so annoying. We're gonna go with this card, and then we might use these other four later. I'm not entirely sure yet. Well, if it isn't the death card, old friend, old buddy, old pal, he's been popping up a lot lately. I think it's a sign that all of us as a collective are about to go through a huge, transformative, intense change, an irrevocable change. If I may be so artsy fartsy with my words. But it is something that, death is permanent. It comes for us all. I'm not trying to be foreboding or anything, but I'm just speaking to the type of change that the card implies. I think a lot of people also have misconceptions about the death card, but it's to me one of the more beautiful cards because it's hardly ever, almost never, about death itself. Just the transition and a journey, um, something that will affect everybody, something that levels the playing field, so to speak. So, yeah, I think there is big change on the wind for the collection as a whole. Um, I realize I didn't talk about the Five of Cups, but I think this ties into the message with the star. How there, yeah, that whole thing about there might not be people that you think are able to like help you or assist you with this, but they there are a couple of people that you will be able to reach out to. Okay, we're going to put that over there. And this is the new bottom of the deck. We have the Knight of Swords at the bottom here. That can be about rushing in. Ooh, rushing in unprepared. Yeah, that's definitely something you don't want to do. It's like it's like being too early for a party, and so you have to help set up. Yeah, or not reading all of the details in the invitation, and it's like a costume party, so you show up in like an inflatable hot dog costume, but it's not just any kind of costume party. It's like a Shakespearean themed costume party. So now you're like the oddball out because you just rushed in there expecting one thing, letting your mind fill in the blanks when you should have, sat down and read everything about the invite, and you would have dressed up as the right thing rather than the wrong thing. It's giving you got the right spirit, like you're going places, but maybe not college places, but going places. That's nothing relating to like you as a person, but just the energy of like you. Not quite. You got the spirit, but not quite. The rushing and unprepared kind of energy. Let's see what we get from. Okay, this card's sticking out. We're just gonna take it. Ooh, inheritance. I feel like this came out in another card, or not card reading, but yeah, probably. That is too many. Wunderbar. We have restlessness at the bottom of the deck. It's like Hermes or Mercury. Oh yeah, Mercury and Aries. That yeah, you're like so antsy about wanting to get started on this. I can see it. Is this? There's a compass. Yeah, and like every variation of cardinal direction that you could possibly imagine, every degree of north, south, east, and west is on here. So you gotta calibrate your compass. You gotta figure out where you're gonna start. You can't see anything, but I don't want YouTube to find an excuse to be a problem. We also have appreciation. That is Moon in Leo. Very, very artsy, very gregarious energy. And we also have discovery. That's Mercury and Sagittarius. And we were talking about Sagittarius energy earlier, too. And there's like a little Sagittarius symbol, and it's pointing to a place on the map. Yeah, it makes me think of so Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Sagittarius. I think it's the modern ruler too. I don't know. Jupiter is the ruling planet for Sagittarius. In Vedic astrology, Jupiter is known as Guru. So Jupiter is about wisdom and like inner guidance. It's also the traditional ruler for Pisces. Um, so I feel like this is saying that spirit will point you in the right direction. You will discover where it is that you're supposed to go. Also, the mummy on here, or the sarcophagus. No, I guess it's more of a coffin. Yeah, it's a coffin, not a sarcophagus. I stand corrected. But it's giving me like lineage or like ancestral vibes. With Mercury here, I think it's saying maybe communicate with your guides and your ancestors. And they may lend you a helping hand in trying to figure out where to get started. Also, this view of the globe, it's from like the South Pole, which is an unconventional view of the world. Usually people look at it, straight on with, the North Pole at the top and South Pole at the bottom. So I think you will have like a uniquely different, unconventional path to get started on this project, which I think is why you need to meditate, but also get in touch with your ancestors and your guides. And romance. We have Taurus in Venus, or Venus in Taurus. I think that's pretty obvious. It speaks for itself. With the 2 up here, I think it's talking about the second house. Oops. Not move so much so I don't shake the camera. I think that the second house is about like worth and value, which makes me think that this project, this journey, will be like a labor of love. Taurians are known to be hard workers. I know, like, there's also the stereotype that, like they're lazy and they like to just lounge around and eat, but people also forget that bulls and oxen, like beasts of burden, they might just like kind of stand around in the field and chew their cud, but they also will, pull plows and things like that. They do heavy lifting on farms from time to time. Also, I think your romantic relationship will provide some stability. Taurus is a fixed sign, so that is like grounded, stable energy. And I think also going through this process will help improve your perception of yourself, your self-worth, how much you value yourself. Yeah. I want this over here or over there. I'll put it over there. I feel as though you want a yes or no question asked, and I don't know what the question is, but I have the pendulum out here, so we're going to ask it on your behalf for a yes or a no, and we will figure out what's going on, what it means from there. Get like a crystal or something to cover Mercury. Got this little rock. There we go. Okay, Spirit. Can we get a yes or a no for whatever question our person, intended individual, has in this reading? Yes or no? It's swinging side to side, and from my pendulum, that is a yes. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I have no idea what you're asking, but I feel like you had a yes or a no, and there is your response. It's a yes. Um, I think you have a follow-up question that's related to that. So we're going to ask for like a follow-up yes or no. It's moving really slowly. Okay, that looks like a no. That almost wants to be a maybe. It seems like it'll say no and then it'll kind of want to go in a circle. I think it depends. Yeah, now it's going in a circle. I think it depends. I like I said, I don't know what this is about, but I get the feeling that it depends on you and what happens in whatever this is. Yeah, now it's swinging even harder in a circle. I think it's really up to you, whatever this is about. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Now, we're going to look at these cards that I just really wanted to look at so desperately earlier on. We have Justice. I heard like divine intervention, divinely guided. Like maybe you're getting your comeuppance or something. We have the Queen of Wands. Everybody wants to be her. Maybe not everybody, but if there were an energy that I would want to embody, I wouldn't terribly mind embodying her energy. We have the Ace of Wands. Ooh, the Tower. That comes right before the Star. That there, just because of that. And the Three of Cups. So that goes back to the message earlier of gathering with others and receiving support from others. There will be a big change. If I'm reading my Roman numerals correctly, this is Death, the Tower, then the Star. Oh wait, no, there's one more in between, and I embarrassingly don't know what goes in between Death and the Tower, but it seems as though some big change is going to kind of set off like the dominoes, be like a catalyst to make something end or fall or change dramatically, which I think is part of the reason why you are advised to focus more on preparation than action at the moment. You're not quite ready. And not like you, like yourself. It's like the time isn't quite just right. There's a lot of factors at play that could influence how this goes. So you want to wait for the right time, because it's like there's something that you're going to learn or find out where, when you finally do this or get started, and you're going to be like, wow, like, I'm glad I waited until after, XYZ event, because, now I'm going to do this differently, or I'm going to do that, differently. Make the proper adjustments and calibrations. But I think also, going back to the Queen of Wands and the Ace of Wands, we have the raw essence of the suit here, and the inwardly mastered energy of the suit. So just a lot of potential and power. And I think just like being still and sitting with that energy, being comfortable in it, owning it, both of these women are sitting very powerfully in their energy. They're not going to be moved or swayed or persuaded to, go by someone else's whims or have their minds so easily changed without proper reason being presented to them. I'm not saying don't listen to anybody and be brash and reckless, but I think you as a person internally, you need to have this Queen of Wands, this powerful feminine energy within yourself before you start acting in the masculine of doing things outwardly, before you set forth on acting on stuff. You need to build a more solid foundation within yourself, because if you try to build something on an unstable foundation, it will later tumble and fall. That's what the Tower card is all about. Things weren't built properly, and so now they're falling, they're coming down. You gotta start over from scratch. Not saying that is inevitable, but if you don't do something from a good solid base, it's gonna be funky. And we don't want funky. I mean, like, unless we're talking about music, but let me get the Oracle deck for the guidance. Ooh, okay. Are we gonna use all of these? Yeah, we're gonna use all these. What did I say about waiting? Hold your ground. Sometimes you've got to just own it. This is solar plexus energy, also Leo there. So that's just owning your confidence and like what you're all about. Be like unshakably you. Manifestation. Oops, not bump the table. Okay. Manifestation. You create your own abundance when you live through divine connection. Again, that is going back to the brain is Mercury is really messing with my ability to communicate right now. Give me a minute. The train of thought derailed. Let me bring it back. Divine connection. Meditating. Oh, meditate. Yeah, definitely meditating, connecting with your spirit guides and spirit itself for guidance and direction. We also have hope. Even in the dark, the light of hope is just waiting to be seen. So you may be coming out of a rough patch right now, but just remain hopeful that it's all going to work out okay. If you think that everything's going to be awful, terrible, fall apart, you will manifest that, which we don't want to do that. It's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you want to prepare for the worst. I mean, it's never a bad idea to be prepared. I mean, this reading is about preparation, gathering all of the right resources. But hope for the best. That's the what this card is talking about, hoping for the best. You're at the end of the tunnel. You're almost there. Yeah, it's coming soon. I believe in you. Hang on. We can do this. Also, for the chakras here, I mentioned the solar plexus, but we also have the navel chakra, or I guess the sacral chakra is the other word for it. I think which also connects to like ancestry, I believe. This indigo one is the third eye chakra, and this purple one is supposed to be the crown chakra. So I think with the hope one, talking about the crown chakra, it's about being open and receptive to good things coming in from the universe. This indigo being for the third eye chakra, keep your mind clear so that you can receive the messages that will help guide you. Yeah. So, gentle soul, that is your reading. I hope that provided some much needed clarity. Also, side note, the other thing for the obsidian is just not just like protection, but being grounded. So I think that's another little tidbit for you. Alrighty, it's been a pleasure reading for you. And for everyone else, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you would like me to do a reading for you, my email is in the description box below. Just, send me an email, give me like a word or something, like a noun or a verb, adjective, whatever, a little phrase for me to put in the title so that you know this is your video. And I can't wait to read for all of you in the future. All right, gentle souls, love and light.